an associate fellow at the Asia program of Chatham House, a London-based independent policy institute. Roderic, thank you for joining us. How concerned are you about what's happening in that part of the world at the moment?
Well, the Taiwan question is a traditional flashpoint and a traditional area of concern, especially in the relationship between China and the United States. And we are seeing much more military activity by the Chinese in the last few days. And I think the reason for that is largely a political gesture to show that China greatly disapproves of the visit by the US Department of State Undersecretary. And indeed, there is also a big new potential arms sale to Taiwan going through Congress at the moment. So the stakes are rising. China's capabilities are increasing. Its willingness to take more positive action in defense of or in promotion of what it sees as its interests is growing, and the situation is becoming more tense.
Would you say there's therefore some justification in Beijing's accusation that Washington is using Taiwan to create problems for China?
I think that's how the Chinese see it. I don't think there's necessarily particular sense in that. They are very much opposed to anyone showing support for Taiwan in a political sense and also in a military sense. And I think the Chinese are becoming much more sensitive and much more, in a sense, aggressive in pursuing their interests. And I think, on the other hand, that it is remarkable how Taiwan has developed its democratic system in recent years. The reason for the visit of the US official was to attend a memorial service for the first democratically elected president of Taiwan. So it all sort of comes together. And I think it is important to be, for the US to be seen to be supporting Taiwan's position at the moment.
What would you say the chances might be of China actually invading Taiwan and to achieve a reunification in that way?
I think we're a good way off that. I mean, as I said earlier, Chinese capabilities are increasing, and Chinese willingness to use those capabilities is increasing. But we are not yet at a position where they can do it in any sort of, if you like, I mean, no such thing would be cost-free, but relatively cost-free way. It would be a seriously costly and seriously disruptive move at a time when the Chinese economy is not doing well, when China, like everywhere else, is coping with the fallout from the pandemic. This is not really the time for China to be embarking on such a huge enterprise. But at the same time, it is not willing to let go by any perceived infringements on China's interests.
Roderic, in terms of the much bigger picture, how do you see the attempts by some countries of the world over the past year, maybe 18 months or so, making much more, it seems, of a concerted effort to counter the rise of China?
I think it's not necessarily to be put in exactly those antagonistic terms, but it is a real concern about how to live with the new Chinese way of doing things. And China is becoming much more assertive in its region. It is becoming much more difficult at home. There are real problems in Xinjiang. It's real problems in Hong Kong, and real problems in the repression of dissidents in China itself. And this makes China a much more difficult and problematic country to deal with. So people need to reassess how they are going to look at China and how they are going to manage their relationships with China.
Well, you provide us with a level head for Chatham House analyst. Thank you so much indeed, Roderic. Really appreciate it. Roderic Wye speaking to us from the UK.